Hey everybody, what is up? This is Devin LaVore coming at you solo. So, who needs to be encouraged today? Well, I know I do. I think there's a reason why the Lord said, "Give us this day our daily bread," and He told us to just ask for it all the time. But there's something in the heart of God that always wants to fling forth good from the overflow of good that's in Him. It just comes out of Him, and He just wants to encourage, whether we're asking for it or not. Whatever's going to come from Him is going to be truth, and if you love the truth, it's going to encourage you. So today, I'm coming to you with a word of encouragement just from the Lord. It's just about your journey, and don't give up. It's so important to not give up no matter what, But before I do that, I just want to give a huge thank you, because when I do these solo videos, I forget to do this. But a huge thank you for those who give to us, knowing that we're in this full time and we're on our own journey, and you're watching this journey and you're supporting our journey. Huge thank you. Because we do this full time. Like, God has called our whole family into this. And we've done many videos about that. But for right now, we are full-time in this, and we live by what you give. That's like my statement these days. And we have a PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App link below. If you would like to give to that, that would be super great, because those needs are always there as well. You know what I'm saying? Just stuff of life. And yeah, so I think I got that right. Okay, cool. All right, so here's what the Lord's given me today. It's super cool, and it comes from Hebrews chapter 10, verse 32 through 35. It says this: "But be ever mindful of the days gone by," meaning he's talking from a point way further in the journey than when he first started, okay? "But be ever mindful of the days gone by, in which after you were first spiritually enlightened," that means you came to know the Lord, "you endured a great and painful struggle." That's in the Bible, A lot of us have been, and you can see this in the Bible itself, from the beginning to even now, that a lot of times we get a call from the Lord, or we get this invitation from the Lord of "I'm going to do this, I want you to do this, and this is what's going to happen at the end. Here, take this word, this sign of the promise, and just go until you see that happen. Keep going. Let us go together and do this thing. Come on, Moses. Here's your encounter. Here's your first spiritual enlightenment in the burning bush with me. Now let's go and endure a painful struggle of bringing the nation of Israel out of bondage to Egypt, which they've been in, which in and of itself was a fulfillment of prophecy to another man of God, Abraham. Genesis 15. And so it's when you get that word, you get that vision, you get that leading of the Spirit, a lot of times, it comes with a great and painful struggle. Sometimes it's public, like us. Sometimes it's private. Either way, the Bible, it just happens. It's right there, right? Now here, listen to this. It says sometimes. Sometimes. That means it's not going to happen all the time to everybody. But sometimes, being yourselves a gazing stock, publicly exposed to insults and abuse and distress. And sometimes, well, let's stop there. That's totally what we've experienced. We've experienced that a ton. I mean, even to this day, and then I watch other people, and they talk about the struggles that they've gone through, and when you're in a public forum and you're put on a stage, not everybody's gonna clap and yay and woohoo for you and throw money on the stage for you. Some people are gonna be throwing rotten tomatoes, and some people are gonna be shooting arrows trying to kill you. And that's just the truth, and then you're excited about what the Word of God is saying in your life, but then you're also enduring this great painful struggle of the time frame, but then you're also enduring, sometimes you're enduring like people laughing at you and people telling you what they think you should and shouldn't do, and having not prayed about it, having not gone to the Lord about it, they don't even know you, and they're trying to direct your whole ship of life. It's like, come on now, standing there on the dock telling you what to do with your boat, and they don't even have a boat. I'm just saying, okay? You're just going to have to deal with that. You're just going to have to deal with it, and more examples besides that, right? So sometimes being yourselves a gazing stock, publicly exposed to insults and abuse and distress, and sometimes that just comes from within your own family. If you're not on a public stage, it just comes from your own family, your own people, your own sphere of people around you that will just attack, and sometimes claiming fellowship and making common cause with others who were so treated. Now that's the other side of the coin. Sometimes you just find those people who get it. They understand. They just are like, you guys can connect, even if it be for a short time. You can connect with each other on this journey, but then God still like pulls you apart. You still kind of go your own separate journey. But it was like such a great moment to just a time of fellowship and encouragement, and just like, yes, this is what God's doing and this is what God's saying, but even that doesn't always last, and so you kind of have to keep going with the Lord and where the Lord's leading you, right? Now here is the writer of Hebrews giving personal examples of what the details of their struggle. But we all have the details of our own struggle, right? Our own painful, enduring struggle that we have endured. See, you got to understand, a lot of your struggle you've already endured. Give the praise to the Lord right there, okay? Thank you, Jesus. We've already endured, It says, for you did sympathize and suffer along with those who were imprisoned. So imprisonment, that's the details. And you bore cheerfully the plundering of your belongings and the confiscation of your property. Wow. And so it's like, how would you like that to be a part of your story? Oh yeah, the government just came in and seized my bank accounts and took all my stuff. No, it wasn't right. They know that they shouldn't have done it, but who's going to tell them what to do? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, can you imagine that being a part of your story? It's like, wow, that would be kind of harsh, but that kind of stuff happens, but that's just the details of their story. The details of your story can carry kind of the same weight, the same intensity, the same kind of like that same level of stress that you might experience being imprisoned or, being taken from your family or something like that. It's like we all have those details of our life that reach that level of like, oh my gosh, for us personally, I know I've experienced it so much on this journey that God has us on. It's like I feel like sometimes I've been stretched to the point where I feel like I'm a rubber band that's getting ready to snap in two, but the Lord never lets us snap. It's crazy. He just shows you how far you can stretch by His Spirit and with His power and with Him on your side. It's amazing and it's painful. So you bore cheerfully the plundering of your belongings and the confiscation of your property in the knowledge and consciousness that you yourselves had a better and lasting possession. Yeah, it's like you have what God's promised you, the glory to be revealed, not just in heaven, but here on earth through the promise that He's given you. It's just like, that's fine. Now we haven't had our stuff confiscated, but the Lord basically had us give up everything. We literally gave up everything to do this. There's some stuff when we moved here we couldn't bring. And it's like we had to just leave it there, for the apartment complex that we lived in. They just had to take care of it for us, and they charged us, and it was just like we couldn't do it. And I'm just like, man, we are literally leaving everything. The details and the depth goes much deeper than I can explain right now, but it's amazing. And so with all of that in mind, we come to the key verse, which is verse 35. It says, "Do not therefore fling away your fearless confidence, for it carries a great and glorious compensation of reward." Now here, let me tell a story. It's fictional, but still, think about it. Let's just say you have been given a ticket by a visiting king. This king visits you and says, "Hey, I'm giving you this ticket." The ticket itself will not fade. It will not tear. The writing on it cannot be smudged out by any earthly thing. And I want you to take this ticket and bring it to my house. Okay? And you're like, "Well, where's your house? Where do you live?" And he's like, "Oh, it is far from here. But," and you will have to endure a lot to get there, "but if you bring this ticket to my house, you will receive everything that is written on it." Now, for us, that ticket is the word. It's the vision. It's the promise. And here's the thing. Let's just say as you're going on this journey, you're first once enlightened by this ticket. It's like, "Oh, this is amazing. You're saying this to me." That was Moses' experience. That was Joshua's experience. That was Noah's experience. That was Abraham's experience. That was David's experience. That was Joseph's experience. You see what I'm saying? That were so many people have this experience. That was Ruth's experience. And it's like, as you're going along, let's just say as you're going along, the journey itself becomes difficult. You're exposed to all kinds of weather conditions. You're exposed to all kinds of exciting moments and really glorious times, but then you're exposed to all kinds of attack where you think you might actually be killed. You might actually die, but then you get put. That's Paul's story. You know what I'm saying? That is literally his story. He's once first enlightened, then it's exciting, then you find out people are trying to kill you, and then it's like, and now you're being hidden in a basket and lowered outside of the city in a basket, hoping people won't find you. You see what I'm saying? It's like, whoa, this is the Lord? And then you got your onlookers saying, "I don't think that's the Lord. The Lord doesn't work like that." It's like, what do you know? Have you lived it out? It's like, come on now, don't get me going. And anyway, but the more you go on this journey and the more you're exposed to, this is really cool, the more you're exposed to the mileage of the journey, the more you start to read the ticket. You just keep looking at the ticket. You keep that ticket in front of you. And it's like you keep the joy that's set before you, which the ticket is a sign of. And you start seeing that there's actually more writing on the ticket than when you first, what is this? And you start like looking at it and going, whoa, there's more written on here. You see? And so as the journey continues, the Lord adds more and more and more to what he's going to do. He gave you the first, it's like the seed was sown, but then he keeps blossoming and blossoming and growing and growing and growing and expanding and showing you more of his heart for you and what he's going to do. But the journey itself can be so difficult that a lot of people give up. Face plant in the mud, give up. They can't take another step, and so they don't. And so they turn and they just go a different direction and do what they feel is good and what will help them and secure them and all that stuff. And we can't do that. As believers, true believers, you just can't do that. Now, do we get everything right? Do we hear everything from the Lord perfectly on point every single second all the time? No. And you're lying if you say you do. I'm just saying. Now, you don't want to be publishing everything you hear from the Lord either, because that's not, but if you're in a position like we are, we thoroughly vet and pray and scour, and we just make sure that what we're sharing, we believe the Lord either wants us to share, or it's from the Lord to share. That's a whole different video right there. But ultimately, what we share is it's not just random impulsive stuff. You know, you want to make sure it's from the Lord. But the bottom line is, as believers in the Lord, as holders of the promise, we are taking that promise to the Lord, because we know when we get it to where He said for us to get it to, and we cash it in, everything that we have experienced in pain and suffering in the past will be cashed in. Everything will have a great and glorious compensation of reward. You know what compensation means? It means you should have had it, but you didn't get it. And so it's been accumulating. It's just been sitting there waiting for you to receive it. And so here's your back pay. Like the lady Elisha said, hey, there's going to be a famine. Go off. Come back in 7 years. It's like, what? It's like, okay. She gloriously, and it says she bore cheerfully that word and the plundering of her time and her stuff, and she came back 7 years later. She got a recompense. She got all that would have been hers for those 7 years. That's the recompense. That's the compensation. And it's like she was set up. She held on to her ticket, came back 7 years, cashed it in. I think that's 2 Kings chapter 8 verse 4 or chapter 4 verse 8. It's one of those two. I'll try to remember to put it up even as I'm editing this video. Sometimes I forget stuff like that. But I just want you guys to know that do not give up. Don't let time and even what you thought was going to happen when you thought it was going to happen. See, that's the problem. Ooh, that's another video right there, the time frame. It's like, do you still have the ticket? Yes, like the Polar Express, you know, do you have your ticket? You know, it's like, don't let the promise drop. Don't give up on it. Hold tight. What does the scripture say in Revelation 3:11? It says, hold fast to what you have so that your crown cannot be taken. What's your crown? It's the great and glorious compensation of reward. Okay? And so I hope that encourages you guys as it encouraged me this morning when the Lord gave it to me. It is the truth. It's in the Bible. We can read so many stories about it. But this is the thing. It's your story. If you're a believer and God has said, hey, come and follow me, then you have a story. You have a great and painful struggle that you have endured. And there's a great and glorious compensation of reward for you. Make it to where God has called you to make it. How do you do that? You keep going. You keep making steps. You keep getting in God's face and say, God, what's today? Give us this day our daily bread. Our hearts might be broken. We might be oozing pain and suffering and tears, but I'm here, God. I'm here, God. You know, I'm here. What do you have for me today? Can I get any healing from my heart? Can I get the desire fulfilled today? Can I get the tree of life today? Oh, no. Still hope deferred heart sickness? Okay, I still worship you. I still praise you. I still give you the glory, because you're the one who sent me on this journey, and you're the one that's going to complete the journey. Okay? Sometimes you just got to get raw like that, and you just got to get in the face of God and just, this is what I am not going to quit. I'm not going to give up. You know what I'm saying? So I just pray that blessed you guys, and that the promise of God is John 11:40. If you continue to believe, did I not tell you and promise you that you would see the glory of God? Okay? And so you're going to see it. And so I just pray that bless you guys. And until next time, we love you and appreciate you. And we have found so much comfort on our journey with you guys who watch our channel and support us. And until the end. All right. Bye-bye, guys.